Wow, Nintendo, you're really stepping up your game with this next-gen technology.
Remember when HD gaming started to come into the market? I mean, the PS2 and the original Xbox were capable of playing HD games, through component cables, but only a select few games had those capabilities. It wasn't really until the 7th generation of video games when gaming companies finally started putting out game systems with the specs and ability to run every game in high definition through HDMI. It all started in 2005 when Microsoft rushed out the Red Ring Death Machine and Sony would release the third PlayStation the following year. Jeez, was 2006 really 10 years ago? Wow, time sure does fly. But 2006 didn't just mark the release of Sony's new system. The biggest contestant of them all, Nintendo, also released their next gaming system. Say what you will about the GameCube's limiting disk space, but the controller was awesome and most of the games on its library were pretty fucking great. So you'd assume that Nintendo would step up their game and revolutionize the gaming industry in high definition. Unfortunately, it broke a lot of gamers' hearts that Nintendo wasn't gonna leap into the HD gaming market. The Wii may have been the next step in Nintendo's lineup, but as a whole, it was just a slightly upgraded GameCube with dated motion controls. Now look, I'm not about to shit on the Wii, okay? I do hate how it was one of the many missteps Nintendo has been doing for the past decade, and it could have been so much more. But it still had a few good games. There's Mario Galaxy, then Mario Galaxy 2, and... what else? Oh yeah, Smash Brothers was pretty good. Sonic Colors was alright. Shit. I gotta look up a few games.
Okay, Mario Kart Wii was decent, I guess. Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, more like Legend of Zelda Twilight Where's All the Colors Princess. Like, that game was so brown and gray and boring. Hey, Super Paper Mario! Wow, I remembered I always wanted to play that because it had that thing where it had a pretty unique concept where it just swapped from 2D platforming to 3D platforming. So I actually bought Paper Mario on Virtual Console because I thought that it was going to be the same thing as Super Paper Mario, but then I found out it was just an RPG. I should probably replay those games at some point. I might appreciate them a bit more. Mario Party 8 and 9? Fuck Mario Party. What the shit is Carnival Games doing on here? Fuck that game. It was a piece of shit. Zelda Skyward Sword, more like Zelda Skyward Board. I have a high school diploma, what the fuck am I doing with my life?
Whatever, the Wii was behind in terms of technology, but it did manage to sell over 100 million copies and became the best-selling system in the 7th generation of video games. One game that got sold alongside the Wii was sort of a demonstration of the system's pretty meh motion controls, and it was Wii Sports. A game that was essentially a tech demo, and since the game was bundled with just about every Wii people bought, including mine, it ended up becoming the best-selling Wii game, and it could also be a contestant for the best-selling video game of all time, if you're just counting just one system.
The best-selling video game of all time, huh? Well, I'm sure Nintendo made a very conscious decision to bundle this game with every Nintendo Wii out there to show just the best sides of the Nintendo Wii, to show how amazing those 480p graphics are. Maybe the game showcases how amazing those motion controls are, right? I mean, Wii Sports has just got to be amazing, right?
Okay, like I said earlier, Wii Sports is just a simple tech demo. It isn't here to be mind-blowing or to become the most incredible experience in motion controls, it just sort of showcases the simple shit the Wii's capable of, yet it still needs to get a new controller. Really, everything you need to know about the game is in the title. The game gives you just 5 Wii Sports to play: tennis, baseball, bowling, golf, and boxing. You can choose to either use characters that are built into the game or use some of your own Miis that you made in the Mii channel. The Mii channel is basically Nintendo's way of having players save memory to a certain character or just have a certain save. Tennis is pretty decent. It only requires you to swing the Wii Remote left to swing left in the game, and swing the Wii Remote right to swing right in the game. You can't move your character manually, so the game just sort of awkwardly moves your character for you to whatever side of the courtroom it wants the player to go. So don't be surprised if you end up losing a few points because your character was automatically moving to the left and the ball ended up flying to the right side of the screen and it was completely out of your reach. It's pretty bullshit. Before the game begins, you could choose to either control both players on your team or you could have a computer be on your team. Usually I just go with controlling both players because the computer's pretty unreliable. Baseball is okay, I guess. Along with tennis, baseball pretty much follows the exact same rules as the actual game. When you're batting, all you have to do is just swing the Wii remote at the right time to hit the ball in the game. If you get 3 strikes, you're out. And if you get a home run or out of the park, you get a point. And if there's a couple team members that are still on bases when you end up hitting a home run, you get a couple more points. When you're the pitcher, all you have to do is just swing the Wii remote forward to toss the ball at the batter. You can also press a few of the buttons on the controller and also slightly move the controller to the left or right to curve your throw. And you just keep playing until the game is over. Bowling is probably my favorite. You can manipulate your turns based on where you move your controller while you're bowling, but frustration can occur when you try to make the ball go one way and it ends up going the other way. I guess it depends on how centered and how far you're away from your TV, but too many times have occurred where the ball didn't hit the pins in the way that I wanted it to. Then there's golf, and it's fucking golf. There's nothing else to say. The scenery's pretty nice, and the wind effects are okay. I mean, this will definitely be your father's favorite sport in this game, but it's kind of sleep-inducing, to be honest. Okay, boxing. Holy shit, boxing is unplayable if you're using a small TV. This is the only sport in the game that requires you to use the nunchuck controller, but the motion controls aren't capable of functioning on the TV that's like 32 inches long, I guess. It can be pretty hysterical to watch a fight occur, and a lot of the motions you can make your Mii do is pretty funny. There's nothing else to do in the game. There aren't any unlockable sports or costumes or anything. Well, when you get a pro in something like in bowling, your ball gets all sparkly and shit. I mean, that's neat, I guess. The only other thing you could do is Wii training, where you go through each sport doing various different training sessions that proves you're an unfit cunt. But I'm sure one thing that people love to do in the bowling training is this little secret.
Nice throw!
That may have took so many attempts, but I finally got it. So satisfying. In Wii Fitness, you go through all the training sessions for all the sports so the game could determine how fit you are or how old you are. The better you do during these sessions, the younger your age is. And the game thinks I'm 41.
Now that's what I call a bowel movement.
Fuck this. Wrapping up, the music is passable, I guess. Some tracks are better than others, but most of it is pretty forgettable. I mean, there are a few tracks that are nice to listen to, and it certainly does fit the sports aesthetic. The graphics are very early Wii. I did comment that the Wii is just sort of a slightly better GameCube in terms of specs. I'm just saying Wii Sports doesn't look anywhere near as good as the Mario Galaxy games or even Sonic Colors. Wii Sports is sort of a game that you play with your family. It's not amazing, and it's not really a horrible game by any means. I mean, how fucking cruel do you have to be to shit on Wii Sports? It's just sort of a time waster. I guess it gets the job done as a tech demo showcasing the Wii's motion controls. Me, I don't really care for motion controls. Heck, I don't even care for the Nintendo's gamepad for the Wii U. I just sort of hope the NX brings Nintendo back to using regular controllers again. Otherwise, it may just reach the same fate that the Sega Dreamcast did. Heck, you could even say the Wii U's already reaching that fate, even though I do like that system. Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see whatever Nintendo shows us at this year's E3, I hope. And Wii Sports? I'll give it a 6 out of 10. It's great as a tech demo, but there's nothing much else to it.
Oh, well, I've managed to put out 4 reviews so far. I mean, you could say that I half-assed this review of Wii Sports, but what the fuck do you want from me? It's Wii Sports. I guess part of the reason why I call this show Cooper's Perspective is to mainly show my viewpoint of video games and, just show you guys what I think of games that I've grown up with. And I guess you could say that the past two reviews, and including this one, have kind of shown the type of games that I've grown up with, mainly the type of console they were on. Like Snowboard Kids showed my time on the Nintendo 64, Hot Wheels Stunt Track Challenge showed how much stuff I used to play on my Xbox, and Wii Sports pretty much introduced me to the next generation, even though it was... The next game system I got after the Wii was the PlayStation 3, so it would pretty much make sense for me to review something that I got on the PS3, and I'm going to do that. And the next game we're going to review is on the PS3. It's also on the Wii, PC, everything pretty much. What game am I talking about? It's not really a game, it's more a series. It's more a franchise than a series. What franchise am I talking about? Well, it's a franchise that's named after its main character. And this character goes by many names, like Fastest Thing Alive, Sonic, the Blue Blur, Should Be Dead Already, and What the Fuck. We will be focusing on the main series of this franchise, revolving around a blue hedgehog that runs really fast, who is of course Sonic the Hedgehog. So we're going to review all the main series games. I think that's like 15, and that's going to take a while. Also, instead of doing one review a month, I'm going to try and start doing 2 reviews a month so that we can get out of the series faster. I mean, that's kind of the main point of why I'm looking at every main Sonic game. It's because I need to get this blue motherfucker out of the way, okay? So I don't have to deal with him for a while. Originally, I wanted to start the series off by talking about the main series, but I just wanted to do the first 4 reviews of this channel. I wanted to do them to basically see if I'm capable of putting out reviews or just putting out videos in general, and I'm very certain that I can do that right now. So I figured, okay, might as well just tackle Sonic and just get him out the way so we could talk about other games. And of course, now that I was very much able to put out 4 reviews, I think I'm capable of reviewing all the Sonic games, and I'm hoping the few people who are watching my videos right now can stick with me until we get the Sonic franchise out of the way. Like I said, I'm looking at it so I don't have to look at it ever again for a while, I guess. Until then, I will see you guys next month for my review of Sonic the Hedgehog from 1991, thus marking the start of my Sonic Marathon. Thank you for watching, and take care. Oh shit.